Before we start, let's speak a little bit what are the challenges on the market. So we are not just buying to collect servers, but we usually buy it for some purpose. When we design, when we develop our models, usually we ask customers, ask partners what was good, what would you improve in next generation. And of course, we do a market research in terms of what is needed, what is the situation on the IT market. And of course, we can see that the main request comes that we need to make operations efficient. The second one, we speak about that anyway, the hardware, the connection, the IOPS or storage, we are choosing in terms of what workloads, and workloads are dictating us how to design it, what to do, where to move. Another one, if about 10 years ago we were speaking about edge more like connecting remote locations using different ways, SD1, 3G, dedicated network, MPLS, but now we see that the development of artificial intelligence, development of different ways of building, manufacturing, it requires immediate calculation and microseconds to money, yes? And we see that edge is developing into a separate infrastructure solution. And also, artificial intelligence is no longer scaring like something who will occupy the world. Yeah, so we see that we can build VDI, we can build smart solution, we can build analytics, HPC, and it coming to all the verticals. And when we speak about current generation, we speak about purpose-built. So we took into consideration all those pillars, all those developments, and we built our portfolio. Of course, it's not just something unique. We have a general purpose, but overall, it has also some unique niche architecture. Of course, we have put more intelligence, more manageability, and my colleague Marian afterward will speak about our management portfolio. Resilience and protection. We know that attacks are now coming not only on software level, but on hardware level. And here we put maximum protection to make sure that even when equipment is coming from the factory, all the firmware is there updated, and even you have a possibility to have to check the hash function that is stored on remote access card, to check that during the road nothing was mixed or changed to the code. And sustainability, we are talking a lot about it, and here we are using plastic from utilization, and also we came further in terms of giving possibility for management, for creating profiles for power consumption, power management, and help to make your solution manageable and better in terms of sustainability. So if we speak about like niche that we see currently, it's artificial intelligence, it's machine learning. So for this, we designed a separate group of servers. Edge and telco, we can see that now connection, it's not just checking is it H, 3G, 5G, so it's the whole world that helps us bring new technologies and develop new solutions. Also, you saw one of the model, it's cloud service providers. We see a niche here as well, and we developed a special portfolio. And of course, core has all the benefits of new technologies that we have. So The portfolio is unique. It's quite big. We have launched 24 new models. So before we speak, like in general, what we have, let's check what technologies, what brings, why we are changing. Of course, first one, as our partner Intel was talking about new processor technology. So now we have fourth generation, and we can scale up to 56 core in 2 sockets and up to 60 cores in 4 socket servers. So it brings us flexibility and virtualization to the next level. But how can we handle the speed? How can we utilize it? So what brings this technology working? And we are moving to new PCI Express Gen 5. So we are increasing speed of the bus, and it gives us that flexibility and that possibility to utilize the CPU. Okay, we have speedy CPU, we have speedy bus. So what comes next? Of course, memory. Memory comes another one, so now it's DDR5, so it has higher frequency, 4800. Sometimes I get a question like, can we mix DDR4 and 5? The answer is obvious, no, you cannot, because it's a new technology. Also, if we speak about storages, more and more we saw the demand on NVMe hard drives. And as you know, NVMe hard drives, they are direct attached to PCI Express bus, and we were talking about some limitation, or a curve of adding one more drive won't give you performance increase, but more like capacity. With new technology, we launched a new form factor. It's E3.S, so it's new NVMe drives. They are thinner, smaller, more power efficient, and more important than give us possibility to increase the storage inside the server. Very often I get a question like, okay, but this generation is more expensive. And yes, it's expensive because it gives you the speed, it gives you new technologies. It's not just midlife kickoff when we just added some cores. It's absolutely new design, it's absolutely new technology, and it's twice bigger speed. Just a little bit of comparison, like with previous generation, it was 12 gigabit per line. In new one, it's 32, and if we multiply by 16 lines, we get 128 gigabytes per second. So we increase the speed of the bus significantly, so it's doubled. And it brings us to utilize new technologies. Memory, it's about the same, so the minimum is 16 gigabyte, the maximum current is 225 gigabyte. But in order to work like at the maximum speed of the CPU, and in order to get the performance, we are not allowing to mix and match different DIMMs, so they need to be consistent. Form factor, how it looks like, of course, we will have standard backplane, so 3.5, 2.5 hard drives, they are not going away, they are available. But this new one, it will help us have NVMe space in one unit. As you can see, it can be up to 245, and in 2U, it's almost half of petabyte of the NVMe storage. The models and backplane, we will see, depends on what to choose. GPU accelerator, we have spoken about AI, ML, yes, so we are spoken about virtualization, about VDI, so we have increased and a new portfolio of GPU accelerators, and in current generation we have addition to our family. It's not only NVIDIA and AMD, it's also Intel GPU cards. Form factors at the bottom you can see they depend on the model, so and what technologies they are supporting. What's next? Of course, new RAID controller that supports not just SAS SATA drives but also NVMe. Updated both cards, now it's NVMe already. System management, we a little bit changed licensing, and some of the features that were licensed separately now belong to iDRAC core license, so you have that availability. System cooling and efficiency, we will speak a little bit later. It's not about just managing the power, but also a little bit of a change and a little bit of way how to design and what options we have in terms even of building or adding new equipment to the data center. Virtualization, AI, when we speak, I think about 15 years ago, we were starting to talk about networking, and at that time it was launched iSCSI offload, when we said that Ethernet card is not just connecting, it also can do some job. So in the current generation, we develop it further, and we introduce another ways of utilizing Ethernet cards. It's data processing unit, DPU, or you will hear it as smart NIC. So we will speak a little bit later what's it about. And of course security, so security is embedded. We have all the new options supported, and we make sure that it will work correctly. In terms of RAID controller, now it's unified. I means for internal, so for internal hard drives management, and E at the end, it's external, so we will be updating also our possibility to connect external JBots. Both will be supporting SAS, SATA, and NVMe hard drives. A little bit of statistics, not at a surprise that performance is doubled in terms of statistics. My colleagues were talking about new CPU technologies, about sustainability, but when we look at all the characteristics of the processor, we can see increase in terms of power consumption of the CPU. And of course, we live in a physical world, and it brings us to the limitation of the air-cooled solution, of the air-cooled data centers. So more cores, more power-hungry CPU we choose. The only way to build and implement it is to move towards direct liquid cooling. Direct liquid cooling we introduced in the previous generation, so it's not something new, but in this generation we will see a bigger offer, and we will see even from the scratch designed model for direct liquid cooling only. Just wanted to emphasize that when we speak about direct liquid cooling, it's not just a checkbox, so it requires additional equipment, and it requires additional way of rethinking how to build your data center. So those tubes, they are not just for design, so they need to be connected to a water-chilled data center. And with our alliance vendor, Cool IT, we have also standard offer for such servers to have servers that can connect this direct liquid cooling. For small environment, we have Dell 3000. It's up to 4. The only difference is in terms of how we connect inside the data center. So for small solution, its server needs to be connected to the data center water supply. In DLC 7000, all racks, they are interconnected and connected to a separate CDC that is connected to the data center cooling infrastructure. So, what can we do and how can we optimize? So there are a couple ways of doing. So we still have air-cooled solution as we used to have. Where is tendency and where is technology is moving? Currently, we see a lot of projects and requests on hybrid cooling. One way is to build its like modern solution with additional equipment to make in-row way of cooling modern solution, and also to get water from the air and build a small one like training or some test environment. Another one is fully redesign and build direct liquid cooling data center where we have pipes, we do a separate project, and also as OEM business unit of Dell Technologies, we also offer immersion solutions. This is data centers that are working in special oil. So it's for data center where we do not have access of air or some special premises. Boss card. So as you know, VMware even a year before, they were moving from SD card to BOSS card, so it was a preferred way for virtual machine booting. And from ES6.8, it's the only option that is supported. So we are moving from SD card to BOSS device. Now it's NVMe. The minimum size is 480 or 960, but we also have an option of 1.9 terabyte if you need for some reason. This option is also available. Now about data processing unit. So why we got it and why it appeared and why we are talking about. First of all, I want to tell you that there are two projects and they are going in parallel for now, and before you ask, we need to know how and what will be the purpose of using it. One is together with VMware. It's maybe you read a code name of the project Monterey. So it's a smart NIC that can run E6i and handles the networking workload by itself. So this is for especially virtualization for VMware special build. Another one is with NVIDIA. When you have a lot of cores, in order to handle these workloads, it's designed especially for NVIDIA workloads, and currently it's certified for Linux environment, and it won't work in VMware. OpenManage, we will have a separate session on it. Just a couple of words that OpenManage Enterprise, it stays the single open console. It has a lot of additional add-ons to make your life easier. In terms of management, it supports all new technologies and a little bit changed in terms of licensing. Marianne will speak a little bit later. Just want to mention that Cloud IQ now is available for servers as well. For some of you who were using storage devices, yes, so it was the cloud applications that help to get statistics on what is going on with your storage and have like a global mind, global memory in terms of how to advise or check what's going on and help to tune the performance. Now it's available for servers, so you can use it in full infrastructure. Another thing, how many of you are using legacy BIOS for boot? No? No one? So everybody is moved to UEFI. Okay, so that's a good news, because for those who didn't, or those customers of yours who didn't, 16th generation will be the last one that will be supporting legacy BIOS. So the rest will need to move or prepare to move for UEFI. Operating system support, so support Windows, Linux systems, so nothing new in here. So now let's a little bit speak about the models and how we design, how we are positioning. So let's start from the mainstream one, R760. So this is 2U server. It has the major versions in terms of choice, CPU, backplane, storage, and also 2U gives us a possibility of up to 8 PCI Express slots for external connection. So this is the biggest one. It can be positioned as a data center, as a big VDI project, or as AI training. In previous generation, we had like 3 models, like up, middle, and value model. In 16th generation, we are moving just for 2 ones. So the bigger brother and smaller one, so XS, so smaller. The idea behind is, when we look at your requests, can you just give a hand, who is ordering servers with memory more than 1 terabyte? 1. Okay, so this is why we are offering for those who are not offering like a smaller value version is XS. Another question, how often do you upgrade with the memory when you purchase server? Never. Yeah, this is, I wouldn't say never, but some customers do, but we all live in such environments that we need, do it everything quickly, and sometimes we cannot afford to reload server, not to put it in maintenance node. So that's why this like observation on your requests, it was designed to put value to money. So this server can be extended up to 1 terabyte. It has 2 CPU. It has the same kind of extendability, but it's bring you the money back in terms of its value. The modern solution, the same idea, R660 is the biggest one, so 1U, 2 CPU, up to 32 memory slots for 2 processor configuration, up to 3 PCI Express slots, a choice of backplane, and the smaller one, it has 16 memory slots, 2 CPU, and the same kind of extendability. Finally, we have launched 4-socket servers, so we have 2 models, the same idea, R860 and R960. The idea behind is a smaller and bigger system in terms of PCI Express slot, in terms of hard drives and external of connectivity. So the smaller one to you is R860, up to 60 cores per CPU. So if you multiply by 4, so we have 240 cores. 48 memory slots, so it's a big one, so we can, 64 memory slots, so it can be a big node. And even bigger one is 960, so it can have up to 12 PCI Express slots. Bigger choice in terms of backplane, up to 36 NVMe Direct Connect drives, so, but a little bit bigger, so it will be a 4 unit. Also, we have upgraded, and we still see the requests on the market, R760 XD. XD means extra drive, yeah, so it's like one server that combines 2 servers with 3.5-inch hard drives. So it's a kind of server dash storage, so for object, for file, for video surveillance, but it has all current new technologies. With tower servers, we will have only one model. It will be T560. We see a decline in terms of requests, in terms of building remote small offices with tower servers, and we see more tendency to move to the solution like H, as you have seen on our stand, like XR4000. About H solution or XR extra rugged, yeah, protected solution, we are extending our portfolio with 4 new models. And we are extending one with monolithic and another with modular. So we are bringing a modular solution to H or XR. What is similar to all these systems that they, as you have seen, they are short depth, so they can be installed, for example, in a modular data center when we have like one rack dash data center, or it can be installed in moving data center when we have a case in military, like Pelican, just install it and we can relocate it or install in a car. Also, it can work in harsh environments, so it's dust protected, it's vibration protected, so. And even the model, as you can see, XR8000, there is a typo on the slide, I'm sorry. So it can work from -20 to +55. So it means for telco operators, if they have somewhere outside the equipment, then they put not only networking, but also servers for some purposes. So XR4000, you have seen. If not, just come. You can check it. We launched, it's like one model, but in 2 form factor. One is rackable, another is stackable. So it's a small one. It can be It comes with VESA mount, so, but it can also, for example, in manufacturing, to be put on a belt on the wall, or if you have a ceiling, so it can be like network equipment built on the ceiling. Also stackable with those ears. We do not have it, they are like, you see, metal ones. It can be connected up to 3 to create a stack. This is why it comes stackable version. In terms of the chassis, the nodes itself are interoperable, so it means you can mix and match, it depends on where you want to put it. I was asked about comparison with our previous generation FX2. It's not FX2, so it has no network integration. So this is just a chassis that shares power. Nodes you can choose. But we have this model designed for another purpose. So 2 models, 1U and 2U. 1U is when you just need compute power, so you can have up to 4 in 2U or up to 2 in 2U. The idea is behind this 2U, it can be extended with 2 PCI Express slots. It can be either network card, it supports A2s for GPU purposes, or it can have a card with NVMe drives on it to have up to 8 NVMe drives. The unique feature is that it has witness. It's a server with its own CPU, memory, hard drives. It's run on ESXi, so you can build a cluster inside the system. The combination, as I managed, it's mix and match, more like what infrastructure you want to build and how to interconnect. A couple of words about artificial intelligence and machine learning. So here we also have a new portfolio with specialized servers that support GPU. The biggest one will support up to 8 GPU cards, 2 CPU models. It's a big one for high-performance computing, for a machine learning. The purpose-built one from the scratch, as I mentioned, with direct liquid cooling only option, supports up to 4 GPU cards, and its version with air-cooled. As you can see in terms of rack units, a bigger one. It's XE8640. And updated previous XA. XA means extra acceleration, yes, a general purpose 2-unit server that supports also GPU cards. In terms of C-series or cloud series, we also have an update. Chassis stays the same, but the nodes 6620 comes with a new generation of CPU. Chassis can handle up to 4 units and also shared disk space because of power limitation. It was decreased from 24 to 16 hard drives, but now it supports NVMe as well. So for those who need just a lot of compute nodes, this is a good solution. And our modular MX7000 server is having an addition of new generation, MX760C. It's absolutely compatible with your existing infrastructure. You can mix and match, just enjoy new technologies that are available on the market. So that's it from my side, like a short review of a big portfolio for a short period of time. I invite you to our a small demo room and check it yourself how it looks like. And now, do you have questions? There is still a bottle of wine. I don't know how are you, but maybe it would be nice to open in the evening.
Teraz príde.
There is no simple answer to it. If we compare, they are a little bit different in terms of core count and memory count. Also, there is a difference in terms of frequency, CPU frequency. So it depends on what workloads are you using. Yes. One of the differences is with AMD that it has one socket system, physically one socket system. So when you have software that is licensed by sockets, yeah, so you do not need to find the way how to persuade that you have one socket. So it's physically one socket. So this is one of the use. Another one is for different workloads, for SAP or for SQL, yeah, there are different performance measurements, so you can choose in between. Also for HPC, it also depends on what model you choose. So there are some performance better in Intel, some in AMD. Also, in terms of licensing, yes, if you take 96 cores for Oracle, so your server will be like peanuts, yes, the license will eat the rest of the budget. So we have both, but my advice is always what workloads, what will you use for, then to run some theoretical calculation because each one has requirements or recommendations. Or another one is proof of concept. So try, compare, and choose. Do not buy a cat in a box. Yes, so you can see how it works in your environment. Because CPU characteristics is only one factor. Yeah, but it also depends on how you build, what rate you use, how you connect, what speed. So it's a lot of additional parameters that influence the result of the testing. And we have a big demo pod, and we have also in our remote location possibility to build purpose build. So just for you, for example, if you want and you know what design and test it remotely, or if with demo pool give it to you and you can play and check what works for you. More questions?
I just wanted to ask about the 9680 series. You mentioned liquid cooling. I wanted to ask if how it's managed by means of maintenance, because if it doesn't have a central unit which takes care of the liquid, or is it enclosed in the server itself? And how is it via means of consumption of the liquid? How long it can work without any maintenance?
Could you repeat what models?
I think it was the GPU models 860. No, 9680, 9640.
So why it was designed with direct liquid cooling versus air? As I mentioned, we have two models because it's just 2U, so it's compact. It has more hungry GPU units and CPU, so it has higher core count and more powerful CPU. But in order to get out that heat, there is only liquid cooling. In terms of management, it has the same iDRAC, so you manage it
I mean the maintenance of the cooling system itself. About what, for me as a maintainer of the server, what it means to have a liquid cooling in the server, if it's enclosed system or it's a system that need to be externally maintained by some central units, some pumps and stuff like that, some maybe liquid tanks.
Yes. Yes, it requires the assessment and building a data center. So when we speak about like building such solution, it requires also redesign of the data center. So you need pipe, water, and it requires special characteristics of the water. Yes, so then it goes like in the false floor. Yeah, so you have pipes. It goes to the rack. It can be similar that we showed that we have, yes, then it goes the connection to, and then another pipe is taking out the heat. So, and when taking out that heat, you can choose like how to use it. You can, for example, heat in some room or just get it outside and that's it. So. For those ones, it requires a special assessment and build a separate data center. But also, for one of the projects in Slovakia, we designed like data center inside data center. So it will have its own specially designed fans, tubes, but it will be like a container, like modular data center inside data center in order to utilize direct liquid cooling with GPU cards, with a lot of GPU cards.